The Petzl E+Light emergency headlamp. Is it a good option for a bug out bag? Stick around and you'll find out. Technology is constantly making products we use better, smaller, and more efficient. The Petzl E+Light is a prime example of that. This light weighs only 0.93 ounce or 26.6 grams. That is less than 1 single ounce, and that is with batteries installed. Now, the size of the light is approximately 1 5/8 inches by 1 1/4 inches. It's very small. You can see that I have put some miscellaneous items around the light just to kind of give a comparison of the size of this light. You can see 2 quarters here. It's barely about the same size as these 2 quarters. Bic lighter, it takes up more space. This stormproof match, box of stormproof matches, 25 matches, is far bigger than this. The light is slightly wider than it, but you know, size-wise, I mean, if you're going to carry these, I know I carry these, a lot of people do, you only get 25 matches here, and that's much bigger than the light. Now, this light works by turning a lever-operated dial to toggle between the modes. It has 5 different light modes to choose from, and I'll show you that right now. I'll try to get this into focus here for you. Now, the different modes that it has are low, high, flashing white, flashing red, and off. I'll do that right now. Now these are old batteries that are in here now. I've used these batteries since I've owned the light, and that's been quite a few months now. It's been out, I don't even know, at least 5 camping trips. At least 5 camping trips with me so far in the time that I've owned it. So this is dim. That's high. Whoop, yep, then that goes to flashing white. Camera's a little funky on that, I know. Then it's got flashing red, steady red, and then off again. I like the fact that this has an off position near the red mode, which allows easy access to the red mode without flashing through all the white settings. It also has an off setting next to the white mode for easy access to that as well. It also has a lockout mode on the dial, which is a really nice feature. The lockout mode, which is right there, see there, it goes to off to lockout mode. It prevents the light from turning on accidentally while it's not in use. It's especially useful if it's stored in a backpack because it will not turn on if it's bumped by other items in your pack. I have had that happen to me in the past, and it really sucks to come back to your bag, head out on a camping trip with it, and find out that your light is dead, where you go to turn it on and nothing happens. That's not going to happen here because you just flip that down into the lock mode. It just basically puts this down a little more flush with the body, so there's really nothing that's going to bump it. You have to deliberately kind of get your nail under there and take that up to the off position. See, like that. The E+Light uses 2 2032 button batteries. The batteries go right in here. Now some people might consider the batteries that it uses a downside of the light, but these type of batteries are necessary because of the tiny size of this light. A light that can use regular AA or AAA batteries could never be as small as this light, and you can actually see the actual light itself is just this part right here. It's only half the size of the whole body of this thing. As far as the 2032 batteries go, the cost for 2 2032 batteries is approximately $5. High quality 2032 lithium batteries have a 10-year shelf life as well. So you can actually put a set of batteries in this thing, put it in your bag, and forget about it for a decade, and it's going to still work for you. The E+Light has a pretty good overall battery life. Like I said, have used this one for over a full season, which has included around 5 camping trips, and I have not changed the batteries yet. It is rated for 70 hours on low and 55 hours on high. The light does get dimmer as the batteries wear out though. If you really tried to conserve your light use with this, I believe you could possibly get up to a month of truly usable output from a single set of batteries. And that would be one $5 set of batteries. And that would be if you kept your light use down to about an hour a night, which is doable, you know, and that would be a month. And if you want to use more than that, take a couple sets of batteries with you. They're slightly more expensive, but worth it if you want the size. The E-Light is rated for 26 lumens on the high setting. Petzl does not give a lumen rating for the low setting. There's some information on the back here. I've studied this, and I've also looked at some information about it online as well. I estimate the low setting is around 2/3 as bright as the high setting. And again, these batteries are weak because I've used them so much. That's low, that's high. I'll pull this away a little bit. That's low, that's high. We'll probably go outside with this thing and I'll give a little demonstration. One problem that I have though is I don't think the camera picks up the full amount of light that you see. So I'm not sure if that's going to give an accurate representation or not. The E-Light does use a flood style pattern more than a focused beam. For its tiny size, it does give off a really nice amount of light. I would say it puts out enough light to easily see around a campsite or walk on a trail, but I would not go as far as to say this is an ideal light for finding a trail if you get lost at night in the woods. This will shine enough light to allow easy movement in the dark in the woods around obstacles like trees, but it does not have the throw that's necessary to find a lost trail easily. That's not to say that it couldn't be done, it's just you're not going to do it easily with this light if you are truly lost. This is more of an operating light that lights an area of around 5 to 10 yards around you fairly brightly, and it even allows you to see some bigger things out to 30 yards or so. You're certainly not going to be studying things out to 30 yards, but you can probably make out the figures of a lot of things. If you plan on needing to find a trail, then you're going to want to have a brighter primary light for that. This light also operates in a wide temperature range. This light will operate in temperatures between negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 22 below zero Fahrenheit, and as hot as 140 degrees Fahrenheit. As far as if you use the metric system, that would be 30 degrees below 0 Celsius and as hot as 60 degrees Celsius. So in other words, this light should work fine whether it's at the cold part of the winter or the hot part of the summer. This light is also waterproof to approximately 3 feet or 1 meter underwater. That is a really nice feature for an emergency light because it can be used in the rain if you need it to, and you're also protected if you fall into a river or something like that, if you are making your way through the woods. You definitely cross rivers and swampy areas and that, so being waterproof is really going to be necessary for an emergency light. There are actually two different versions of this light. One has an external headband, and the other one, which is the one that I have here, has a built-in spring-loaded retractable pull cord that secures the light to your head. You can see that right here. This model has a flat plastic back that rests on the back of your head, which is very basic, but it is comfortable to wear because it's so light. While I've used this, I've found that I forget that I'm wearing it after just a few minutes. You just don't notice that you have it on your head anymore because it is so light. Now this retractable cord, this is an ingenious little thing. It takes up no space, yet it is fully functional. And not only can you wear it on your head, you could prop up a stick at your campsite and you could strap it to that. Let's pretend for a minute that this lighter is a stick. See? You can do that, and then you can aim this thing anywhere that you want. It's just a really nice little setup. You can also put it on your arm if you wanted to. If you're use it that way if you wanted to. I mean, there's a lot of potential. Now, I really like this version with the the pull cord because it's so extremely compact, and it still attaches to your head so well without the extra size of the extra headband. Now this does have a dim red light setting as well for reading and doing small tasks. You know, you've seen that. Unfortunately, the light rating, I'm sorry, not the light rating, but the time rating on red is only 30 hours. So the red is the dimmest setting of all. Kind of give you an idea of that. So there's red. And there's high, and whoops, no, there's low, and there's high. You can't hardly see the difference on camera here. And then there's red. So I am definitely going to recommend to buy this light because I believe it is just a valuable addition to your emergency preparedness equipment or camping equipment. It's very light. You get a prolonged amount of light from this. It's durable. It's waterproof. I've used it now for months, and it has not failed me. I'm still on the same set of batteries, and I'm still using them fine. It will not throw as much light as a bigger light, but that's not what this is designed for. This is designed to be able to be with you and not burden you down and not take up any space. We're in a back room of my house here that's just mostly used for storage and just kind of throwing things in that's not really used. So I am going to use this room to do a brightness test between this light. I've got another flashlight here I'm going to compare it against, and it's my Princeton Tech Amp 1L. This is a brand new one of the same light that I've got. This is a 45 lumen light that we are going to compare the Petzl E+Light to. When you buy 2032 batteries, buy good ones. Don't get the $4 sale China batteries. What I do get are these. It's like $5 for a 2-pack. You can get Energizer, Duracell, Rayovac, any good brand name battery is what you're going to want to stick with. They're going to have to be lithium, and if you stick with the good brand, then you're going to get the full life out of the light, and you're going to get your full temperature rating and everything else. So, little recommendation there. Get the good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and shut the light off. Alright, first off, we are going to have the Petzl E+Light. Okay, this is low. This is high. I'm going to shut this off, and then I will turn the Princeton Tech light on. Okay, so this is 45 lumens right here. This is a full 45 lumens. This is enough to walk around a trail. It's enough to find a trail. You can see what you need to see with this light. I do not feel like I'm short on light with this thing. Just for another comparison, we will go ahead and put the E-Light back on. That's low. Now, even with the batteries not being at a full charge on this, I don't feel like I can't see. You know, if I needed something in here, I can definitely see what I need to do around a campsite. I wouldn't actually need to change these batteries right now. I'm only doing this so you can get a test. I'm just going to go over to this table over here. And again, I apologize for the lighting situation here. I'll try to stay out of the light as much as I can. So this is how the batteries are going to be changed here. I'm going to basically just take and go. It's tight in here. It's not so tight that you can't undo it, but you just turn this dial, you know, right here. I'll try to get that in the light. So you just turn this little knob here over to this end, and it doesn't say open or anything, but that's where it has to go. Put your fingernail in here and pull it out. And you want to be careful because this has a very fragile little gasket here. I mean, it's plenty enough for what it does, but if you're really rough with it, then it's going to fail, you know. You can see the little red gasket around there. So then you've got your batteries in there. They just go flat side up. They do say lithium. These are the batteries that came with the light. They just kind of drop out of there. That's what we have for the inside. So alright, I am going to just set these aside. And we'll peel this backing off here. Just drop that one in. And we will drop this one in. Oh, it just fell in there. And then I am going to carefully put the back on this thing. Okay, I'm just going to try to push down with even pressure everywhere. Feel that going in. You can feel that gasket. Must be spring-loaded or something in there. Okay, so I'm going to push in, and I'm just going to turn. That's all that it takes. Now this thing is definitely, the battery back is not going to like rattle off or anything. It's in there pretty firm, and it takes deliberate pressure to take that off of there. So, alright, now let's go ahead and do our test again. Now both of these guys have full batteries in them. This has brand new good batteries, and so does this. This is 45 lumens, this is 26 lumens. Now this is low. That's definitely looks a bit brighter, and that's high. Wow, look at that. That's low, and that's high. That is way brighter. That is like three times as bright. This has a really nice flood pattern here, and of course most of the time you're going to use this on the low setting. Okay, so just for comparisons, now we're going to throw the 45 lumen on. That's 45 lumens. Let me shut this off. I'm trying to do two flashlights here. Okay, 45 lumens, and this is 26 lumens. 45, 26. So there's this is the low setting on the Petzl Light. This is 45 lumens. That's the low. That's the 45 lumen light. Okay. Now we're going to go high on the Petzl Light. And here's the Princeton Tech Light. Alright, here's the Petzl. Okay, so I think you've got an idea now of what we're looking at. This light is plenty good enough for walking around a campsite, walking in the woods. Like I say, if you know that you're going to be lost on a trail, you'd be better off to have a light like this. You know, it's got a more powerful throw, and it's definitely better for doing a more serious work that you might need a light for out in the woods. I think between the two of these lights, right here, this is your bug out light system right here. The other thing about this Princeton Tech Light is you get 72 hours out of a one charge. Now I have tested this for myself in the past, and I've gotten up to 100 hours of usable light. Of course, by the time you hit 50 hours or so, you're pretty much down to a reading light that's about as bright as this was, you know, when the batteries were kind of low. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you with a close-up of this light, just so you can see every angle of it. I always get annoyed when I see reviews that somebody left out a certain part, something that I was curious about, and they didn't show it. So hopefully there was no part of this light that you didn't see that you wanted to see. Some handy little emergency stuff on there. Pretty well useless, but hey, why not have it on there? By the way, this light, the pull cord should fit about the biggest head that you can imagine, so you're not going to have trouble that way. Alright, see you later.